I know you get that feeling every single time I come shooting through your galaxy. I hope you could fly. What up, Music NFT Radio? How's it going, everybody? We're back again. We got another podcast. We are just moving and grooving here on Music NFT Radio. Today we got a special guest. We got Wolf Financial here, Gav, who's always crushing it. One of the hardest working guys, probably the hardest working guy on Twitter Spaces, right here with us. So, Wolf, welcome to the stage, man. It's a pleasure to have you on this show always. And you have just been absolutely crushing Twitter Spaces for a long time now. So you're a legend, man. It's great to have you.
Appreciate it, Dill. Good to be on. Always excited to be chatting with you. I'm glad you're able to make it to, honestly, like we did, what, like 5-10 hours of Twitter Spaces this week together.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I really appreciate you bringing me into the mix. Like, I'm happy to jump on and just support and be on stage, even if I'm just adding a little bit here and there to the conversation. But then stuff always comes up that I can relate to. So it's great. We were talking about legal stuff yesterday. We were talking about different projects and running treasuries and cool investment related projects. So I love what you're doing. If anyone hasn't checked out Wolf Financial, go check him out. I mean, what do you do? 40 plus hours a week of Twitter Spaces, and your spaces are like so engaged, like talking 8 hours a day, switching in and out. I mean, it's incredible. You've built quite the operation over there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like talking, so it works out pretty well. And definitely we try to ride that fine line between education and engagement and try to just really keep it entertaining. So, you got it. But yeah, it's pretty much full-time talk radio covering everything finance.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming in. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about the future of music, of course. Definite focus on Twitter Spaces, I think, and everything that's happening here with this kind of new content approach we have with Music NFT Radio going 24/7, with Wolf Financial being like pretty much business hours, 8 hours a day, just pushing out incredible content, having this huge platform for everybody to come and share what they're working on, right? Because you bring in so many different types of content and creators. So I think we can talk a lot about that today. We got people with experience and all these kind of things. So I want to say welcome to our friends here. Let's go around and let everyone say hey, because I want this to really be a space where we're all chatting. So let's go to Nudes. What up, Nudes?
What's going on, Dill? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you coming in. You're a VIP supporter. Also, I'm glad I could introduce you to BDE NFTs right now, because I was just sending some of your information over to BDE for an event they're planning. But yeah, Nudes, if you want to give just like a quick
Happy
intro.
to be here.
Yeah, what's up, BDE? Eli,
hey, how's it going, Jill?
Good. Let's let Nudes give a quick intro and then we'll go around. So Nudes, if you want to just say a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a producer artist based in Los Angeles. I've been, an independent artist and producer since 2015. I've had incredible success in the sync space, most notably with my work with Apple, currently Apple's most used artist. I've just got I'm kind of new into the music NFT space. I think I came in like March. But I'm honestly, being an independent artist and just like I've never been more inspired by the future of music since I got into the music NFT world. I think that music NFTs are the disruption that is absolutely necessary to just push music forward as the valuable art form that it is. I connected with Dill very early on since coming in this space. And, I got the pleasure of having him over my studio and interacting with him IRL. And I've just, I'm really inspired by what Dill is doing because, as a producer and like I've worked with lots of incredible artists, and Dill is the real deal, man. Like he is truly pushing this music NFT experience forward from the artistic perspective. And, that's just something that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. So I'm always happy to jump into the music NFT radio community and kick it with you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're awesome. I loved coming doing your podcast. I had no idea that I would be running my own podcast here a couple weeks later, but hey, that's Web3 and NFTs. You know, we're building on the fly. We're making big moves. So, Nudes, thanks for coming in. And let's go to BDE NFTs, one of our newest VIP collectors. What's up?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Dill. It's good to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you just talk a little bit about BDE and what you guys are building over there?
Of course, happily. So basically, the premise of BDE Best Day Ever is that we have a true mission of providing the best day ever with each and every event that we put on, beginning July 8th to the 10th at the Sahara Hotel and Casino. Just to describe that event real quick before we get into the big picture of who we are, what we're trying to accomplish. That event, Friday, there's going to be a panel of NFT experts covering different segments of the NFT industry, such as music NFTs, which we'll have Dill speaking on. We are closing a deal with somebody from Dapper Labs to speak, and a couple other businesses, hoping to get some athletes involved. We just formed a partnership with a big metaverse company who will be having a metaverse convention that same weekend. So we're going to be incorporating metaverse capabilities moving forward, but also they want to add to our production Friday night, which is super exciting, and add a couple hours of club party celebration that evening. And then Saturday we have a daytime and nighttime pool party, and Sunday's day of giveaways, giving back to the community. And the cool thing is, if you buy our BDE NFT, it's a lifetime membership. So every event that we put on, this event, our next event is at the HyperX Arena. It's an esports arena at the Luxor. We signed Clips, the founder of FaZe Clan. So he's going to be putting on some esports events and also streaming with some of our ambassadors and other members in between events throughout our time working on BDE. And our goal is to work our way up to be a music, NFT, metaverse, and educational. We already have the destination picked out. It's an area capable of hosting, I think, 90,000 people right next to the Sahara Hotel. And our roadmap of events leads all the way up to the Super Bowl in 2024, which will be hosted in Vegas, and we'll have Super Bowl affiliated events. We plan on expanding to Miami, which is where I live and where I've been putting on events for the past 6 years at some of the major clubs here, Live, Story, all those. So really exciting stuff, and happy to have all involved.
Dope. Thanks, man. Appreciate that intro. And let's go to Benny as well. You're here, right, Benny?
Yes, I'm here. How's it going?
Yeah, good. If you want to just give a quick intro about yourself, we just got finished recording another podcast about building music NFT radio. That was dope. I already got it uploaded and on and live.
So yeah, hey everybody, I'm Benny Groove, formerly known as DJ Groove. I am a 24-year-old rapper, and I joined Music NFT Radio right at the beginning, before I even knew that I was going to be an artist in this space, and just everything happened so fast for me. But one of the biggest supporters throughout has been Dill, and I'm just happy to be here, chopping it up with all you guys, talking about music NFTs. The future is so bright, and all of us are really here right at the beginning. Like Nudes was saying, he's only been in here 3 months, but that man has made such a splash. And like, both of you guys are people I look to in this space when I'm thinking of how I'm going to drop. So yeah, more stuff coming soon for Benny Groove, but it's just good to be here, guys.
Hell yeah, man. Of course. Yeah. And I think we got Mucho Info in here. I was just messaging Mucho Info. They have some amazing music as well. BDE, definitely tap in with Mucho. How's it going, Mucho?
What's good, man? How's it going? This is DZ from Mucho Info, 1/5 of the group right here. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, yo. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate that, man. This is a great conversation. We got Wolf Financial here to help us host a chat just about music, NFTs, and getting into the space. So I guess I'll start with the first question that I have for everyone, and then Wolf, if you have any questions you want to go through or anything you add to the conversation, like let me know however you want to add, right? But the first question I want to start with is just getting into the space, discovery and onboarding. How did you first find out about music NFTs? Or like, what is the first time that you can remember thinking, all right, this is something I got to check out, right? Like, so we can go around it if anyone wants to just jump in and go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the lead on that. So I first found out about music NFTs because I was in law school and I never wanted to be a lawyer. I was told either to go to a talent agency, which in my mind meant working in the mailroom for several years and leaving Miami. So I didn't want to do that, or go to law school. And throughout law school, I was connected to some record labels, Super Music Group, which I worked at, and a sports and entertainment law firm. And I kept hearing that they were finding different ways of incorporating music NFTs, or the record label was worried about the music NFT industry taking over. And I was working with artists behind the scenes for a little while. A buddy of mine, Hoosh, who's performing at Rolling Loud for the first time this upcoming summer, and trying to get him involved with it. And then I actually started my own talent agency not too long ago in September, called Elevated Talent. And music NFTs is something that we've been trying to focus on as a core competency with everything that we're doing. And I mean, the more and more you hear about it, the more it makes sense. And regardless of where the rest of the NFT industry is going, the fundamentals and the technology behind music NFTs is something that I strongly and confidently believe is here to survive.
Dope, yeah. And I know Mucho Info has to drop soon. If you want to answer the question of how you first got interested in looking at music NFTs. And it's also interesting you got a group with you. So it's not just, you deciding, it's like the whole group trying to get on board, right?
Yeah, man, that is a definitely an interesting dynamic to have to tackle that, arena with. And personally, myself, I can't even say I know enough about music NFTs, man, but I definitely got introduced to it. Oh, I want to say around a year ago this time. Just even like the idea of it, like it was just people talking about, the whole booth NFTs in general, but then people talking about tying it to music, and obviously seeing the whole Gary V um, information about that topic as well, and everything else that surrounded it, and that it just looked like a opportunity for us to be able to tackle and see where we can plant our music at in that arena. And honestly, we're really looking forward to see what else we could learn about really capitalizing on this wave.
Yeah, 100%. I totally relate to that story of like just seeing NFTs and then thinking, all right, like there's a way to do this for music, and for me that was a big part of it, just figuring that out. Nudes, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've been making like music visual components, like music visual artwork since I started in 2015. And I was just really, just rooted in the Web 2 experience. I mean, I was, you know, m- spending thousands and thousands of dollars on developing visuals with groundbreaking visual artists, only to have them really posted on Instagram. And I even had a couple of visuals go viral on Instagram, tens of millions of views, but it doesn't really equate to anything. And I was getting really burnt out over the years of like pouring my all my creative energy into these visuals and not really feeling like it was kind of like going anywhere. And then when I discovered the NFT scene really kind of popping off in 2020, that's when I started to realize like, okay, this is something that I have to bring myself into, but I really wanted to take the time to figure out what was going to be the best way for me to kind of enter space. But now that I've connected now I'm just starting to kind of like get my feet wet. And, after connecting with someone like you, Dill, and having all the conversations that we're having and all the incredible people in the space, I'm just like, oh my God, like this is the future. And the last thing I want to say is that I feel like music always leads the way to really important technological changes. And, I think the last time we've had this sort of technological disruption was with the MP3, leading to uh, MP3 development of the iPod, the iPhone, streaming. And I feel like we're just at the beginning of this whole new technological revolution, and music NFTs are going to be the thing that really push it there. So.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, man. I haven't thought that much about that, but you get me thinking of like, basically when MP3 first came out, it probably wasn't feasible to like play an MP3. It's like, whoa, well, where are you gonna play your MP3, And then like one day they had the MP3 player, which maybe it wasn't popular at first, but it got popular, right? And that turned into the iPod, whatever. So that, man, you're right, and that gets me thinking about the future of where all this is going. We really never know. I want to also go over to Wolf. Wolf, you kind of look at things from more of like an investor perspective, and you're kind of looking across so many markets. And I remember even when you first started hosting NFT spaces, and then I've seen you get more open to the ideas of like music NFTs or entertainment related NFTs and some of this stuff. So, I mean, what has been your vision towards the growth of music in the NFT space?
Yeah, good points. Appreciate you sharing that, Nudes, and kind of the insights there. Yeah, for me, I'm always looking at these things from a financial investment perspective. I'm very open to all areas of finance, whether that's, crypto, NFTs, real estate, stocks. Doesn't really matter what it is to me. I just try to gain a better understanding from people that really have experience within them. So for music NFTs, for me, and with any product, it's what's the product market fit, right? What's the tangible value to the holder? And why does this need to exist? Like, what problem does it solve? And I think the problem here is pretty clear, right? The problem is that people are creating music and they're just not being compensated for it, right? They're getting basically nothing per stream on most platforms. And then there is this other problem with agents and other people coming in and taking a large cut. And really, it returns a lot of that power. For me, what I'm interested to hear from the perspective, and maybe I can propose this, is what's the opportunity and where's the value to the customer, right? Why are millions of people going to rally behind this from the consumer's side of things, right? Is there a tangible benefit to them there to go down this route with the artist? Because I understand why it's immensely popular for artists. I'm just curious for the consumer, what's going to pull them to the NFT side of things versus just hopping onto Spotify, doing a stream where they're paying $10 a month and have access to whatever. So that's what I'd love to propose to some of the artists, and just kind of curious to hear how they think this is going to gain mass adoption, because it's easy to understand from the artist side and tougher from the consumer.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, man. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I think this question comes up all the time. And there's a lot of this, I think, misdirected energy that's like of making it Web 2 versus Web 3. When in reality, it should be about combining the strategy so that you have a strategy that includes both Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, as a place to listen to the music, and NFTs as a way to collect and invest in that music, right? So I still think that streaming and Web 2 streaming sites are a big part of the equation, because that's where the listeners are, right? That's the place where you go listen to the music, even if you're a collector, because of convenience and also because of the potential to create that viral moment and support the artist to the top. And that's ultimately going to drive value to your NFTs, is supporting the artist's growth. So personally, I think this isn't really something new. Look at what we're doing right now. We're using Twitter, which is a Web 2 tool, in order to drive Web 3 traffic and NFT sales and things like this, right? So people act like we need to ditch Spotify or ditch YouTube and all this stuff, but they're saying that on Twitter Spaces. So it's like, why, maybe you're frustrated with some of the way the traditional music industry works and stuff like that. But I do think we still need to use these tools to get exposure for what we're doing in Web3, just like everybody's using Twitter to get exposure for what they might be building in NFTs. Everybody needs to still use Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube to get exposure for their music, because that's ultimately going to drive people to Web3. So, I mean, personally, the vision that I see is to incorporate all of these things into your strategy. The value for the fan or the customer or the collector in Web3 is that they now actually have a vested interest in seeing this artist succeed. So they get lots of cool utility, sure. And at the end of the day, they could probably buy most of that stuff a la carte, without their NFT and have a similar experience. But when you buy the products outright, it's just a sunk cost to the artist. When you buy the NFT, you actually have a vested interest to see that artist succeed. And I think over time, it actually will pay out, not just more than it's worth from utility, but also the value of the NFT can increase over time. So I think that overall, this is the first time you can ever bet on a music artist's success. Lots of people love sports and sports betting. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? But you don't have that for music. There's no way to bet on your favorite music artist winning. And NFTs are providing a new tool that does that as well as a lot more. So that's kind of my perspective on the value for the buyer. It's like exclusive experiences, cool stuff, all that is good and well. And if that's not enough for you, the potential to make a bet on the artist, which is why I would say why many of us are here also, right? That's what you're doing when you collect NFTs and when you invest in NFTs. And so I think that's a lot of the draw for it, because there never has been a tool like this. But I'd love to hear some other perspectives as well.
Well, real quick, Dill, because you're on a nice little roll there. Talk me through the economics of how it can pay back, right? Look at this from, the mass scale. What draws people in? ROI, right? Like at the end of the day, that's why people look. They say, I'm putting money into something. I want to see ROI. And that's exactly what you're saying with betting on someone, right? Like, I want to bet that this music artist, they're going to kill it. I want to support. But of course, people aren't just giving their money away. They're supporting for the potential of ROI. So walk me through the economics of how what they're buying or what they're putting into the NFT world can increase in value and the money that they can make.
Yeah, sure. So I viewed NFTs like a limited digital real estate for me as an artist. So I've created a certain amount of limited digital assets which you can buy into, and then those are directly connected to me and my career through utility, right? So as I am, as an artist, I'm able to leverage more opportunities, get more shows, have more funding to create merch, new music, and new NFTs. That becomes increased utility for the holders, right? So everybody holding the NFT right now, they might be just getting access to, shows that I'm doing at NFT NYC, a few merch items when I go there. But as I'm able to scale up my business, these NFTs are going to get you increasingly more access and increasingly more value, right? For example, me developing Music NFT Radio has resulted in a bunch of NFT sales, because that's built tangible value for the community. Now people are coming on this show, getting involved in the community at an even higher rate. So to me, it's really about connecting utility, because when you connect utility to an artist, then the product scales with the artist, right? As a starting out artist, maybe you're doing small local shows, local tours. You can offer that to your fans. But when you do plan that world tour, or when you do have that leverage to get bigger shows and bigger deals, you're going to be able to find a spot for your collectors, whether that's giving them a discount, giving them free stuff, getting them involved, getting them early access. There's always a way to involve your collectors. And I think that a lot of people don't realize this, and they don't see the path clearly, but I've pretty much been proving for the last 2 years that you can do this. And so I think including utility is super, super important when it comes to NFTs, especially for music NFTs, because we have these amazing music products. We have concerts, festivals, shows. We have merch. We know what makes money from music, right? We know what fans want. So let's connect that to the NFTs.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Nudes, why don't you talk a little bit about it as well?
I think that was incredibly well said, Dill. I was just kind of I wanted to say that where I think um, is going to be really important is just the emphasis on community and collaboration. I think those two things are what's going to take music NFTs to the next level, and where the value really lies is in those two things. It's in the community and it's in the collaboration, and the fact that NFTs are providing a way to interact with communities around artists. You know, those communities are always the most valuable thing. I have been always thinking about like the Grateful Dead, even since I started Nudes. It's funny because when I started Nudes, I was like, I want to build some sort of like cult experience like the Grateful Dead. You know what I mean? I think the Grateful Dead are such an incredible example of like a culture that's built around this music that is like so not mainstream. But imagine if you could like invest in the building of that culture. And I feel like what we have now is the ability to build this uh, collaboration with the building of these artistic communities that are so valuable. Um, that's my feeling. I kind of got lost listening to what you were talking about, Dill. But yeah, it just comes down to community and collaboration.
No, 100%, man. That's a great answer. I think you're 100% right. That's what's helped me to get to where I am, is just focusing on the community and building out the community, right? It's not all about, working to provide maybe like a live show utility or, a t-shirt today. It's more about building forward and realizing that you can connect these things as you go. I think so many people are focused on like this in the moment, what am I delivering right now, rather than realizing the NFT is kind of a token of the relationship that continuously delivers utility over time. And yeah, I mean, I think it's all about community, and collaborations are something that I need to explore more. And I mean, we were talking about some cool ideas like Nudes. You're someone that I would love to collaborate with, and this community in Web3 is already creating so many collaborations. So let's go over to BDE, talk a little bit about that as well, or what you think the
Yes,
most
sir.
important are for
Yeah,
collecting.
well, first, I want to go out and say, Nudes, Benny, any of you guys who have any interest in collaborating with each other, we would love to host you guys at BDE. Just shoot me a DM either on BDE or my personal Twitter, which is below the manager underscore, and we can see if we can make that happen. Would love for some type of live collaboration, or be the beginning of you two working together from the music NFT side. And on that note of collaborating, I think it's apparent to all of us here that the NFT space, music NFTs, promotes collaboration from a cultural perspective, as you can see from the communities that are developed through Twitter, Discord, and whatnot. But also, not to forget, a real importance is the collaboration that's promoted through the technology itself. For instance, you can write in the smart contracts the royalty split for anybody that you're collaborating with or producing music with, or the who's designing the artwork for the NFTs, and it just automatically goes in their wallets. You don't have to worry about a middleman, which I see down the road, especially from a legal perspective, with my law school background, really reducing the amount of litigation that you see in the music industry, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard some nightmares about people trying to collect from others, or pretty much getting scammed or screwed over by one party one way or another.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that is going to be really huge. The potential to just rework the industry for artists, give the power back to the artists. I mean, There's so much lack of transparency in the music industry, and I think this provides a new way for the artists to get some of that funding directly from their fan base. So that's so important. Let's go to Benny Groove.
No, yeah, BD, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you and Nudes were talking about with the collaboration. It's like in real life, like it was so much harder, I feel like, to collaborate with other artists. Like I met a group, Stilo Music Group, and we all, like 7 of us, went in Spatial and made a beat together. We all met on Spatial. It was so cool. Like, and now we're creating the song and we're going to drop it as an NFT. And like you said, we're going to split the royalties and everybody's going to get a equal part of it. And it's just like so crazy to see it happening real time. Like I didn't think any of this was possible when I first joined like the NFT space.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's great. It's crazy because when I came into this space almost 2 years ago, there was no path for a new artist to come in and get involved and start dropping NFTs. So, Benny, I'm glad that you've been able to make an entrance to the space, and it's great to have you here because you're an example of how someone actually can just come into the space and get involved now because of stuff like Music NFT Radio, but also because of all these platforms that make it easier to mint, easier to get involved. So there's so many angles to this too, because it's not just about the artist who's like, making major plans and they're at that point in their career where they're offering utility or planning big events and stuff like this. It's also about the artist who's just new coming into the space and, maybe they're able to sell a couple bucks of their music or just make a little bit of extra money from selling their music. They'd never be able to do that in Web 2, right? Because it's, first of all, getting 1,000 streams is really hard. That's a lot of streams. Like 1,000 people is a lot. And, I started at 0 too, just like everyone else. So I know how hard it is to get 1,000 people to listen to your song when you're starting out, right? And that only pays you a couple bucks, like $3 on Spotify. So it's like, even this goal that's, in some ways, maybe for a lot of people seems unachievable, getting a couple thousand streams first, it can feel like that. It doesn't even pay you a lot. But in NFTs and Web3, you might just come into a room and vibe with someone and they might buy your NFT. If it's like $5, you might just sell it. And that can totally happen around here. And so someone buying a $5 NFT is like very common and pretty easy. You can go into a Twitter space and you might even get someone to support you. And that wouldn't even be possible in Web 2. You need to get over 1,000 streams. So it really is about reshaping the value of music. And even from the brand new creator, it's better. Like, it's almost impossible to make $100 off your music in Web 2. But in Web 3, you can find a few collectors to buy your stuff to support you. They don't have to be spending a whole bunch of money because of utility. Maybe they're just buying a $5 NFT because they want to support a new artist. I do stuff like that all the time. So that's what it's about. That's kind of how we're repricing the music in Web3, I think. But Wolf, that was a really great question you had about what's in it for the collectors and stuff. Did that answer your question? Are you left with any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty helpful. I see right now, like if you were to buy their NFT, maybe it could appreciate over time, similar like maybe like a trading card or something like that. I'm wondering if, you think artists are going to sell these NFTs in a way like, hey, you buy this music NFT and then it's on this platform, right? Like you were saying, like Spotify or something, then you get a percentage cut of, right, income, right? I'm trying to like figure out just like, I get it from a supporting perspective, but for me, I'm like, I'm cutthroat finance, it's always like, well, how, because that's how you sell it to the most people, right? Is when there's something to tell the person like, hey, you're going to maybe get a percentage of this. You're going to get, I mean, we talked a little while back about you're going to get access to this person's shows. You're going to get backstage. You're going to get, there's a lot of different pieces and there's a lot of music fanatics. So there's a lot of ways to appeal to them.
Yeah. So this is always a good one. So basically, I think the idea of connecting royalties and ownership to NFTs is going to be huge, right? That's pretty much a security backed by music, which is a cool idea. I think it comes with the obvious risks and concerns of being a security too. But also, one thing I want to explain is how broken the value system is in the, music world. So my album Crypto Rich has about 2.3 million streams, which it's gotten over the last couple years. It's doing pretty well. Most artists don't have a million streams, let's put it that way. But I've done well with this, getting a couple million streams. That has paid less than $10,000. In the same time, I've created almost $1 million in market cap around my NFTs. So people think that an NFT being linked to the ownership of the music is some kind of great utility, but it really isn't. Even if I had given a percentage of that to my collectors, it would have been barely any money. The true value that's created is in the NFT value, the community growth, like Nude said, community growth and collaboration. So just like other NFTs, it's not that people are making money because of some dividends they got from their Bored Ape. It's really about the growth of the community and the people that want to hold it and support. So while I do think that royalty split NFTs will be huge, I don't think the majority of the value is from that utility. Actually, I just think that's a small utility. I think if you create an NFT and the only utility is a royalty split, it's not going to be worth that much. And if you create an NFT that has utility, real utility plus a royalty split, maybe that's cool. But to me, it's not the most important thing. I personally don't look for NFTs with royalty splits. And as far as I know, most of the NFTs that are selling out there and people are able to, have liquidity for do not include royalty splits. Now, there are some like with Royal.io and stuff like that. But I mean, Violetta just sold over 100 ETH of music NFTs. They're not royalty split, and they're selling great on secondary. So I just personally think the royalty splitting thing is highly overrated, maybe even a little misleading and gimmicky. And I think the future is about the artist maintaining 100% copyright ownership and finding other ways to make the NFTs valuable.
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate you sharing the numbers there. I feel like that's very helpful, and probably a lot of people aren't so privy to those. When it still goes to show, though, you mentioned creating $1 million of market cap of the NFTs. For me, right, trading a lot of stocks, trading a lot of real estate, different pieces like that. I'm all about, things that are backed with an asset, right? So I'm curious, is the music the asset that they're backing? Is because, typically assets, I look at assets that generate wealth, right? They're assets that provide income. That's how I value things. When you look at a company, you look at the price to equity, right? Or you looked at, price TPS or whatever you're kind of using as your metric and ratio. So, and sorry if I'm digging a lot here. You can feel free to move on from the topic. But I'm just curious, that $1 million market cap, what's that backed by? What's the, what are the assets producing that people are buying into? Because, I think that a lot of things, market cap comes and goes, but it's always the thing that's backing it that really is steadfast, right?
No, totally. These are great questions, man. I appreciate it. And I think this is where you get into, well, on some level, it is still a collectible. It's still art. It's very much like, Pokemon cards or baseball cards or something like that. I think the fact that it has utility certainly adds something to the case for what is it backed by. Well, it's backed by, access to all these things the artist might offer. But anyway, I want to let some of these guys with their hands up talk. So go for it if one of you guys wants to hop in.
I just wanted to address Wolf's question about like what's in it for the collectors, and especially as like just me personally, I'm a fan of music first, and probably that was what was the coolest thing about music NFTs was being able to like be there first, for this artist's journey, and also getting that access to my favorite artists. Like I would never have been able to hop in a call with Dill like unless I had his music NFT,
Right,
or
but that's on small scale. What if someone sells 10,000 of them? You're not really going to have access.
I mean,
I currently have over 1,000
Yes,
collectors.
but Dill's very avid and good with social media too. I'm talking like a lot of artists. Like
I just don't believe that they're going to sell 10,000 and then give access of their time to everybody that's in there.
Well, like Violetta, she had 2,500 collection, and every collector has the ability to go see a free Zoom concert every Friday, and everybody's faces are in there. It's so like personal. It's like this real connection with her. Like feels like the same thing I was doing with her on Twitter Spaces 7 months ago when she first started. So there is like that way more personal connection to these artists, even if it is just G-Eazy and I get his like little PFP NFT that was worth $5. Maybe I find something out about him that like I never knew, and that makes me feel more connected to him as like a fan. So I don't know. I think it's scale, but it's definitely like something that where you feel way more connected than just go pressing play on their Spotify
Right.
playlist.
I completely understand if there was that connection. My doubt is just that that connection is always going to be there. That, that I go out and buy, a music NFT for Drake, and the next thing Drake's pouring me a shot, right? And now that's a very extreme example, but there's other people, right? And I'm going to invest in them and I'm going to see them on the come up. And at some point, they're going to hit, hopefully, mega superstar status. And I just don't believe well, maybe hopefully they'll talk to me, but like, I just don't know that that's always going to happen. So I think you hit the nail on the head exactly. It is scale. I'm curious, how do you scale the value and utility and attribution of this? Because, great if someone's selling maybe 1,000 music NFTs total, this is possible to pull off, but we all know that's not where people are going to stop, right? Once this becomes, a much bigger industry, people are going to go out there, they're going to want to flesh this out. And what they're going to lean towards is the money, and and not necessarily just the balance. So I'm just trying to figure out where that middle ground is that satiates both the creator and the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways to look at it, and I want to hear from nudes too. But like, sometimes I get carried away with utility and to me, there's enough value in just having a digital asset for a song, period. And if it had no utility, I could still see myself buying it to support. So I don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
Yes, but you're a multi-platinum artist who clearly is in love, love, love with music, right? I'm talking, how do we scale this to millions and millions of people who are fans of music, who listen to music, but didn't dedicate their lives to it, right? So for them, they may need something more than just that supporting, because I want this to be huge.
No, I totally hear you. Let's hear from
I
nudes.
can jump.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that, first of all, I love Wolf. I love the idea of buying an NFT and then just the utility is Drake pouring you a shot. I think that
I'd buy it.
is such an incredible NFT. I'm into that one. First off, I'm not ready to talk about my project yet, but I feel that I'm going to be bringing an experience that's truly unique and revolutionary to the collaborative aspect of NFTs, and I'm really excited about that. That's going to be coming later this summer, so watch my page for that and stay connected with me for that. But what I really wanted to just highlight is going back to my original sort of point about we're so early here that we're at the stage where the MP3s are just coming out. When I look at the evolution of what happened after the MP3, I get to Netflix in my mind because MP3s led to MP3 players, which led to the iTunes store, which led to Spotify, which led to mass adoption of the idea of streaming, which led to then video streaming. And I think what we have to realize is that music is always leading technological innovation, and we're at the beginning of just innovation that's going to provide utility and value beyond that we can't even really comprehend yet. So I think right now it's about artists using their creativity to create new experiences and generate new value for people to participate and invest in. I think that just simply connecting it to the royalties is just a really short-sighted way of thinking about the value of music NFTs. I think that I don't have the answer of where it's going to be, but I think that we have to let our imagination soar with the value that music provides historically.
Awesome, man. Thanks. And BDE, what's up?
Yeah, so one of the ideas that we have for BDE, that deal, we actually haven't even let you in on this idea because it's just in the nature of the project these days. It's been a snowballing effect, just idea after idea, like team member after team member being added. It's awesome. But moving forward, because we did want to stay true to the idea that if you buy one of these original BDE EFTs, you're a member for life, and not have to worry about any type of capacity issues, and people not being able to come. So we got rid of the idea of doing additional drops that would act in the same fashion, but we do want to do additional drops moving forward in the sense of perhaps artist passes that are associated with or connected with one of the artist's songs. And if you buy it, you get a royalty split with it, but you also get to have VIP access to the artist, meet and greet. You're locked in with a photo with the artist at the BDE NFT event. And then also now through our partnership with this metaverse company, we can then transform that into an artist pass BDE apparel in the metaverse, which you can then rock on your avatar. So those are just different ways we're thinking of incorporating utility and associating the artists, connecting them with the attendees at our events.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think utility becomes a big part of it. I think getting creative on how to build a community and build value, right? I mean, I think tokenomics is important. Like, one of the things that has created so much value in my community is that I didn't just choose or just try to sell everything out at one price. I strategically priced my collection so that it would increase in price over time, which gives
Genius.
more long-term funding, as well as, growing the community with me. So, I mean, like Eli, you just purchased the NFT at 1 ETH towards the end of that bracket, so you got to see how that value grew.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
blessed.
yeah, and then so did you, Nudes. Like, you got in too, and so now it's great. I mean, now we're up to 2 ETH for the OpenSea collection, which is dope. There's only 10 left at 1 ETH right now, and we're doing a custom contract migration too soon. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background for my NFTs, and I think the utility is partially like IRL utility, but then I also focus on, I guess, crypto economic utility and NFT like token utility, right? And that's something we've seen it work before with Bored Apes. We've seen it work with their, Kennel Club and their other side drop and all this stuff. So what I've always tried to do is see what the other NFT leaders in the community are doing to create value around their NFTs and incorporate some of that with my stuff. So, I mean, it's a great question though, because I think everybody comes to this space and thinks, all right, like NFT, what is it backed by? And the easiest answer is, oh, well, if you back it by music royalties, then it makes sense for music. Like, that is the obvious answer. But in my opinion, it's not the answer that's creating the most value in Web3 right now. I just see other approaches that work better and don't give up copyright, which is far superior for the artist. And I would argue it's superior for the collector. Because if I, as an artist, give up my copyright ownership, I am less likely to invest in the monetization of that copyright long term. However, if I have, as the artist, maintain 100% copyright ownership, then I'm incentivized to continue investing in that copyright, which I think is likely to have the most long-term benefit for the NFT. But that is definitely a debatable topic that I would be interested to debate with someone or talk more, but we'll see. I mean, as of now, it's proving. Because look, at the end of the day, if I had focused too much on, royalty splitting, you'd be getting a split of almost nothing. Whereas I've focused on community, collaborations, token economics, utility, and created nearly 1 million in market cap. And I think others who have created a lot of market cap do the same to me. And I guess I use market cap as a measure of the value available in the community. So to me, it's a good measure of how much do people believe in your project. I mean, but I agree with you. It comes and goes. It's largely about the market. That's why they call it market cap. So, sometimes NFTs go up, sometimes NFTs go down. One thing that's been helpful for me is the pricing structure, which has helped them go up in ETH price at least. But of course, like stuff like Music NFT Radio has built so much value around them, stuff like that. So anyway, this was a really awesome conversation, guys. If anyone has anything they want to say, I mean, we've been going for an hour. It's Friday night. I'm sure everyone wants to get on with their life. But Nudes, what's up, homie?
Dude, I want to say congratulations for being number one on OpenSea Music right now.
Dude, right? That's hype. Let's go. Yeah,
That's
I
fucking
actually did.
awesome, man. I'm just so excited for you. This is the reason why I'm a happy VIP investor in what you're building. I mean, to be honest, the fact that I have GM as a one of one, I'm blown away still because that song is so iconic to this movement and this moment. And to see you at number one on OpenSea Music right now is like, it just makes me really happy. But also, I wanted to just say that I think you hit the nail on the head when you just said that I could have given people a percentage, which, but you focused on utility and experience, and like you're providing real value. And like just seeing you number one on the music on OpenSea, like, is just proof that like what you're doing is the right thing. So I'm happy to be supporting you, man. And this is awesome. Thank you for hosting this space.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I doubt I'm still there. I had to get that screenshot hella quick. I slid right in for the quick screenshot.
It's there, bro. It's there right now.
Get that shit out. Is it still there? No way. Let's fucking go. You know what's crazy is that this is without any mint or anything. This is just selling VIPs. And like with the pricing structure, I think low key it's gonna start going up a lot because it's like then they're gonna be at 2 ETH, and then every time I sell a VIP, it pulls in 2 ETH. So to me, the vision I see is like one day I'll be getting on the phone with like record labels, like bigger celebrities that are trying to move into Web3, and I'll be like, yo, yeah, I can help you make a really strong move into Web3, but you're gonna have to buy my NFT for 10 ETH because that's all that's left. Everybody else diamond hands, they're not selling. So it's gonna take a long time, right? Because, for example, we hit 2 ETH now. I'd be surprised if somebody doesn't try to take some profits soon at like 1.99 ETH. I'm sure someone will because they've been in since 0.2 ETH. So I'm waiting to see who's gonna list. But who knows? Maybe they're truly in for the long run. So what I've noticed is it's like the reverse demand effect where like it's easier to, I swear it was easier to sell them for 1 ETH than 0.2. Because when it was at 0.2, nobody believed in me. And so I'm interested to see, is it going to be easier to sell them now at 1 ETH, or somehow is it going to be easier to sell them when it's 10 ETH? Because I don't know, maybe I'll just really have such a clear offering and value by then. So yeah, I mean, thank you for your support, man. It is incredible that I hit number one on OpenSea. Shit, it's still there. Still at number one for 24 hours. It only took 2 ETH the volume, but yeah, I sold 2 VIPs yesterday. And yeah, we got this out as a podcast, everyone. So thanks so much, Wolf, for coming in. You were a great addition to this conversation, man. I love your questions. They're engaging questions that we need to talk about in this community because you're asking the questions that pretty much everybody asks, especially people who actually have money and are actually investors. So thanks for bringing that perspective, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
For sure. Shout out to all of our speakers who came up. This has been another episode with the Music NFT Radio podcast. We're playing the hits of Web3 music and music NFTs every day on Twitter Spaces. This is Music NFT Radio.
Dale, can I make a request?
You want to add something before we finish up the recording?
Oh, I was just gonna say, are we gonna play a song to the recording?
Yeah, sure.
Let's get a do your thing, bro. I'm a proud owner of DYT.
Let's go. That's a banger. We got a song from Nudes, DYT. Yo, thanks for coming in, everyone. Tap in with our speakers. This will be out on YouTube within a few minutes, maybe about an hour. I did one with Benny earlier. Tap in on that. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Everywhere else, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Tap into the live show. Get involved with the conversation. This one's Do Your Thing by Nudes. Let's get it.
I see your name like a mantra in the back of a Hyundai Elantra. What you doing to me, baby Donka?